Happy T8 owners, we all know how blessed we are, how very, very blessed we are to have a TRINFINITY8 system in our lives, whether personally or for business. It's an amazing blessing, and I've been blessed since January of 2009. There are a lot of things that have evolved as far as the use of the TRINFINITY8, and I want to share with you things that I've discovered and an experiment for you to try to see if you can tell that what I'm now using is also more effective for you, more powerful for you, and also safer in some ways. Okay, um, these little guys are beautiful crystal rods. Um, $400 or $500. You don't want to mess with them. You don't want to be careless with them. If you have a business and you've got clients coming in, you know that they are, you know, a little bit more liable to be chipped, cracked, dropped, whatever. Um, so right now, what we know about these guys is that to take care of them uh, after each use, whether with a client or other people in your family, even with you, you know that when you grab these, and then if you look through a light, you'll see the smudges. That's your sweat, it's your skin cells, it's your DNA. You don't want to, you want, don't want Joe Smith, who's coming in to gain weight, you don't want his DNA on there so that when Maggie Jackson comes in next to lose weight, that Joe's DNA energy doesn't get picked up. Um, I don't know that that happens. I really don't. There's a lot we don't know about subtle energy. So I'm just throwing it out there. Let it bounce off your intuitive, sacral, gut, whatever. But anyway, we are told after the uses to clean the rods. Good idea. We're also told not to bang them together because you don't want to chip these beautiful little points. The points are the, the strongest emanation of energy is coming out of these points. So you can imagine my horror when a client finished and she was holding on to the rods and then she slammed them together to give to me. Not happy. I had to bite my tongue on that one. Okay, so there's the care, how to take care of them, how expensive they are, and also how to use them. So what I'm going to show you as an experiment to try in a little while has to do with a new way to use them. And later at the end, if you're interested, I'll go into the history of how they've been used over the last 11 years and also how I got downloaded with this new way to try to use them. So here we go. What you need besides your crystal rods are 2 elastic bands. These come around bunches of broccoli, bunches of asparagus. That's where I got these. I like the little purple one. So we'll use that one first, a little bit smaller. Here's what you're gonna do with that. I hope this comes out okay because I'm just not sure how this is gonna work. My film crew did not show up today, so this might not be a very professional presentation. Okay, you wrap it around once on that one, and then you wrap it around again on the other one. Bing! So you've got your rubber band wrapped around. But let's see. Can you see that okay? Yeah, your rubber band's wrapped twice around each point. They are not touching, so they're insulated from each other, but the tips are about the equal distance apart. Can you see that? All right. Now you take the other one and wrap it around the bottom twice. Nice and solid. These guys aren't going anywhere. And they're not getting scraped together. They're not getting rubbed or chipped or anything. Just have a nice little setup here. Now, what you're going to do is put your plugs back in. You're getting ready to use it. This is your experiment. You fasten them together, and then you get ready to use it, whether you're sitting or lying down. Let's say you're sitting. You can't really see what I'm doing. I've got to back up a little bit here. Okay, if you're sitting, you put the rods in your lap. Your solar plexus is right here. The ribs come down here, ribs come down here, and this makes a little V. And you want the points to be pretty much where the V is. And you're all hooked up. If you're sitting, the tops of your legs are holding it in place, but you might want to put a towel over it, something to wrap around it to hold it in place, because now you are free to have your hands relaxed at your sides. You don't have to have your hands grasping these and getting hand cramps or anything else. And if you're lying down, this is very easy. That lays very easily on your tummy or on your client's tummy, and your client never, ever, ever has to touch it. The best. That's the best. Again, put a towel over the stomach, and that will hold it in place, or a little pillow or something. So your client is free to do whatever they do for the time that they're hooked up to the T8. Okay, so that's it. This is your experiment right here. Now, you can go and do it, or you can hang around a little bit longer, and I'll tell you how I ended up coming up with this. Oh, God. Okay. Dr. Kathy always laughs at me for coming up with weird stuff for T8. We have a history. She's very good to me. All right. Once upon a time, when the TRINFINITY8 first came out, there was a little video that showed how to hold these crystal rods. And it went something like this. I'll try to give you a profile so that you can see that the person was holding the rods into the stomach, into the pretty much the solar plexus area. Now, the reason that I think that's really important to do, even though a lot of people now, you'll see them sitting, they're holding them like this, or they're holding them like this, and they're just, wherever they are. The reason that I think the solar plexus is important is because of the adrenal cortex. Okay, here you've got your two little kidneys, and on top of the kidneys are looks like a little French beret, very soggy French beret, and that's the adrenal cortex. Cortex, remember, is a word that's also used for the brain, and the feeling is that the adrenal cortex is a brain for another brain. Okay, we got this brain up here, central nervous system brain. And then we've got these other autonomic nervous system brains. But down here, belly brain. Belly brain. more brain cells in the belly than up here. Just discovered kind of in the 1990s. It's called the enteric nervous system. And while this brain does a lot of things, but it basically tells you pick up the rod, hold it like this, stop at the red light, you know, all that kind of stuff. The central nervous system doing what we tell it to do. And then the autonomic nervous system doing things like keep the heart beating, do the lungs, digest the food, get rid of the viruses. Don't get me started on the plandemic. Okay, good. But the enteric nervous system, the one down in the belly, all those brain cells, they're part of the immune system. All the lymph that's down there, the immune system, the spleen, the appendix, the thymus, tonsils, whatever. We got a lot of parts of the immune system, but the enteric nervous system in the belly is more about healing the body, keeping it healthy, keeping the homeostasis, everything balanced and level and wonderful. That's why I think it was really cool that the once upon a time pictures of how to use how to hold these guys right in front in a little space for the body. And you can do that too. I mean, if you're not doing it already. And that kind of ties in to the new way that I've showed you to lasso them together with the elastic bands. Okay, so we have the adrenal cortex, which is the little brain that tells all the other brain cells what to do. Okay, then after that, a couple of years after that, we were given instructions on how to hold these with as much skin around the crystal rods as possible. And we got the information that these little tips were where the strongest part of the energy came out of. So if you wanted to have a finger on the tip, or if you wanted to hold them with the tip in your palm. Now the palms of the hands are the minor chakras of the body. Okay. The solar plexus is a major chakra, the third chakra. Okay. And so I kind of, would play around with all of them, and in doing different remedies, like for my eyes, for this, for that, I realized that the closer that these things are together, uh, the more powerful it seems the juice that comes out of them. Okay, then the final little bit of history that ties this all together was an comment that Dr. Kathy made about when you do the remote, the distance sending of these to somebody who's not in the same room. Okay, well, she said, so the subtle energy, you put these together on the person's name on a piece of paper written 3 times, or their picture with their name written 3 times, and send it out. That the energy from here goes out to the person, enters the upper chakras, filters down through the chakras, and enters the body. I'm assuming that that's still the way it works. I don't know. We learn so much about subtle energy all the time that, well, whatever. Maybe it's right, maybe it's not right anymore. But that thought stuck with me. So since I do some of this T8 stuff remotely, I do most of it remotely, and I do some of it for myself and my sister. I started fooling around with how to hold it, what to do, and then the idea came to my mind of how to make something that would keep them together like this, but still in aimed at my chakra rather than the skin or the physical contact with the body, although there's reasons to do point stuff. Um, but it seemed like, wait a minute. So I was doing this one day and I just laid them down on my stomach and put them together. And I'll tell you what I felt was, I mean, everybody feels this differently. Let's, acknowledge that. Some people are going to feel tingling, some people aren't going to feel anything. I would always feel something through my hands and maybe my arms. But when I had it just in my field, out from my body, felt the strongest, and that made so much sense because if remotely it channels through our chakras and then into the body, it made sense that subtle energy from this chakras are subtle energy, that they belong together. So it was actually just this morning. As I was waking up, I envisioned the two little rubber bands and how they could work to hold it together, put it on my stomach, not have to worry about where my hands were, not have to worry about um, getting my DNA on this so that when I sent it to a client remotely, I was getting their stuff as well as um, them getting it. So that's how it came about. And it just seems like, okay, if you have them together, let me get up again, and you have it on the third chakra, solar plexus, that's great. If you are lying down, it's not going to pick it up. Wait, if I stand on my toes. If you have it down, here's your belly button, and then right below that is your dantian on the conception meridian, your power point on the conception meridian. This is the second chakra, which is the whole belly. Okay, there you go. So you can either go right into, on the second chakra, the whole enteric nervous system subtly, or you can bring it up to the third chakra and do it to the adrenal cortex, which distributes it then down to the enteric nervous system. I think that's how it works. Correct me if I'm wrong, but don't let me know about it. Okay, that's my experiment for you to try, and why and how I came up with it. I feel when I do it now with these guys on my belly, the rush up the chakras, and my sinuses really start throbbing. Your sinuses, they're empty now, but back in Atlantis, they weren't empty. They were filled with the pineal gland, which kind of goes across here, and pouches here and here, and a big monster pouch underneath the brain where the biggest sinus is, the ethmoid. But it was all pineal gland, and the power of the pineal gland in Atlantis allowed us to come into the body, and when we wanted to, leave it, or go into a flower and leave it, or go into whatever. The pineal gland in the human body was the gateway for us to migrate, do in and out of the dimensions. So anyway, that's a lot of weird stuff. Okay, try this. If here's what I would like you to do: do a minute holding them on, say, divine alignment or golden light to the pineal, something that has a little sparkly juice in it. Do it with your eyes closed. Feel how it feels in your whole body. Then put them together with the rubber bands, put them on your tummy, do another minute, and compare it. Find out for yourself which one has uh, more juice, more octane. Okay. All right, guys. Gotta love this T8. Gotta love you. Blessings.